And we're back here, viewers. We are in the 10th frame. Dave Reljic's leading 6-3. Last couple of frames have been a bit scrappy. Tensions are high. Energy levels are low. Dave's going for 3 Australian 8-ball opens in a row. Dave Reljic, Dave Rothall. He's looking to win his first Australian title. He's been getting close. I'm kind of going for both of them. I don't really want either of them to lose. I've known Dave Reljic obviously for a while. We're both from New South Wales. I've only just met Dave Rothall, but he's a stand-up guy. And I kind of like to see him win his first Australian title. Alright. Reljic's got his arm going now. I think they're both going to attempt to actually run some racks here after those scrappy frames.
What have I missed, Kim?
Well, there's been a couple of scrappy frames, Lewis. Can you give us an insight into the psychology of both the players at this stage of the game, at this stage of the match, after those intense safety frames?
Well, I didn't see them, but if it's been like that, normally the guy with 6 points is feeling a lot better than the guy with 3 frames. So
I'm hearing
that I could tell you for sure.
I'm usually the guy with the 3 frames.
So, battles, but are you winning them, I suppose? They're going to 9. There's still a bit of breathing space. Dave Rothall, who is down 6-3, who's not at the table, wouldn't be feeling too bad on himself. There's still plenty of time. Heaps of pull left in this match, that's for sure. Just got to hang in there sometimes. Wait for the opportunities that maybe your opponent was getting early in the match. And just stay positive and just wait for the opportunity. That's all you can do. Sometimes it doesn't come, mind you, but stay positive.
After a safety battle, is it difficult to get back into the frame of mind where you want to just knock balls in? You have to get your arm going, you've got to free it up, you've got to play your natural game.
Yeah, it depends. If you really it's a double-edged sword. If you're really locked into the safety frames, and once they become open, once you've had that hard battle, you're more relieved now that everything's in the open, and that you're the man about to try and pop the balls, that it's still second nature kicks in and you pocket them with no trouble at all. Then there's those times, those windows of time where you've played maybe too much safety frames and your arm, saying, freezes up a little bit, and all of a sudden if you've got to take on a testing ball or a long shot, it can become trouble. Yeah.
Dave Reljic's the break, having won the last 4. He's leading 7-3. That's a pretty nice spread there, Lewis.
Yeah, it's not bad. Dave's looking quite strong. He didn't start off too well today. He's quite lucky to actually win his opening match this morning.
So I had a look over, it was 6-all.
Yeah, and he got out of strife. But I've always said to players, fellow colleagues of this game, that you need a little bit of luck sometimes to win an event. And I think that goes with any sport, at any level, really. Good just to have lady luck on your side sometimes.
I noticed you were talking about your push to get some Australian players not only competing overseas but actually with getting some results. It must be difficult for you guys. I mean, it's not difficult for you guys, but if you live in America or Europe, then you're consistently playing against the best players in the world day in, week in, week out. We live on the other side of the world. You really only get to play each other. And then you're expected to sort of front up at a major tournament without the kind of match play experience. I mean, I know you've been there, Lewis, but to have it week in, week out, it's a different story.
Yeah, they've certainly got that benefit. I think also established players like Dave, who's at the table at the moment, and I know myself, we have trouble really adjusting to the conditions of the big cameras, the tiered seating, the lights, the smoke machines, the big noises. the huge introductions. I mean, it's a bit of a shell shock. You go over there once a year or twice a year, and it's a contrast to what we're looking at the moment. We're in a pool room here in Adelaide. With some maybe 20 to 30 spectators. And it's a bit of a shock to the system, you know, and it's hard to deal with. It's a still ball game. You really need to keep your nerve. And when you're thrown in that sort of atmosphere, it really tests every part of you.
Yeah, I can see how easy it would be once for that to worn off. You're already fall up down.
Yeah, that's right.
In terms of the fact that you're actually in a pool match.
Yeah, I mean, the frustrating thing is the skill levels aren't really what's left to be desired. It's really adjusting to the conditions. And we're watching Dave today. He's playing absolutely brilliant pool, which is in par with some of the world championship finals I've watched.
Yeah.
It's really conditioning himself under those circumstances abroad. And, you know, we really need a player, you know, maybe in our top 5 from this country to go over there full time, who maybe doesn't have commitments here at home. And really give it a good run. And we haven't had anybody do that in the last 10 years that's really committed themselves.
Well, I guess, as you know, it's difficult once you're between 25 and 35, even 40. Obviously, you have commitments. You have families, you've got a job to go to, you've got bills to pay.
Yeah.
If you live in America or Europe, well, you're just taking the weekend off.
Yeah, you're right. So we're definitely behind the 8 ball. The punt there.
Well, it's refreshing to hear that in context for a change.
Good point, mate.
Oh, Dave's not going to be happy with that. Has he got a shot here, Lewis?
Oh man, I hate it when that happens.
Well, he can go off the rail behind and put the black in. The black's close enough. He's actually got a pretty good angle for this shot, but it's a very low percentage
He's a
shot.
15, yeah, the 15. He's called that shot too. He's going to go for that. You're right, that's probably the only option on the table.
He actually nailed one of these in the semi-final, so
yeah,
he'd be backing himself to knock this one.
These aren't that hard. There's a little secret to these. If you only concentrate on the centre of the white coming off the cushion, forget the edges of the white, just concentrate on the centre of the white, hitting the contact point, bouncing behind. They're not so hard. It's a good try. They're probably 3 out of 10,
Yeah.
4 out of 10 for a level play of Dave.
I think the best solution is just not to be in that position. I'm sure that's what the gang's going through Dave's head at the moment.
Yeah. No, he wouldn't have been happy with that.
He actually put black there.
Yeah, he played that last ball before the black a little bit quick. Obviously he'd have his tail up at the moment and his confidence is high. And it's again just finding that concentration level, finding that consistent medium of concentrating. Probably a little bit overconfident there. Small bet with you. If it was 4-all, he wouldn't have done that.
Would you classify Dave Reljic as an attacking player, Lewis?
Got me confused there. I think Dave is a very good example of taking on the circumstances or the predicaments at hand. He's certainly not an aggressive player as far as an enormous break and that huge energy that some players can expel and just keep running rack after rack, which we see sometimes overseas. Yeah. Dave's definitely not in that category. Dave's more sort of subdued and more controlled. I'd put him in the mid-range of attacking.
Do you believe that to be the secret to cracking it overseas?
No, again, it's purely conditions for me anyways. I mean, out of all, we've got probably some 5 or 6 players that go overseas regularly. When I say regularly, every year for the world titles, and you may be aware I'm the only player that keeps qualifying over there.
Yes.
And I think I'd put that down to I've had a lot more experience than these guys going over there. I've been under those conditions probably some 20 to 30 times. So for me, I'm not so shell-shocked as these guys are. I find it a little bit more comfortable than what they do. But I really think the key is the conditions. If a player like any of these two gentlemen here throw themselves over there, maybe for a 12-month span, I think they might do some damage.
So you do think the secret's going to be for someone to actually live over there?
Absolutely, yeah. I've no doubt in my mind. No doubt whatsoever.
Did you ever think of doing that yourself, Lewis?
Well, I started out doing it.
Oh, okay, right.
I was over there for a couple of months, and my lovely gave me some news that she was pregnant.
Okay.
And I was only young then. I was only 20, 21. And I made my decision to come home, and I don't regret that. But you know, I was having some success in that 2 month span. I was getting pretty comfortable with it. But yeah, I mean, we really need, I don't know, Dave's commitments back home in Sydney. I know he hasn't got children, but certainly any of these guys, anyone in the top 5 or 6 in Australia, if they go over there for a 12-month span or 18-month span, I think they'd come home, you know, getting into semis or finals for sure.
Well, John Wims is an interesting example. I thought someone told me that he actually won a major European title, such as the Irish Open or something, and then he's actually chosen to leave Europe and come and live in Australia, which is nowhere near anything.
Yeah, see, I mean, he did win that title. It's deceiving because it's much like a title we're witnessing as we speak.
Okay.
You know, you've got to have that Irish citizenship, and there's not a lot of folk there that play this particular style of pool. So it was really a low-key tournament.
I guess living in Ireland's like living in Tasmania and playing in Australia.
Yeah, but certainly he's with arm's length if he was over there, residing over there, to keep scooting around the traps and playing amongst these guys all the time.
I guess, as same as yourself, he's made a lifestyle choice in that he has just started a family and he has chosen to bring up his family in Australia.
Exactly.
Makes complete sense. I've actually never. I work in an industry where I met a lot of people from overseas, and I'm yet to meet anyone who wants to go back to wherever they came from. They all want to live here.
Yeah, definitely. We're lucky people. Yeah, I can tell you that. I've seen a few places. I've been around this world a couple of times, and makes you appreciate home. That's for sure.
Yeah.
From the people to the food. Weather, it's just, we really are lucky here. And Dave's not given up, young Dave. Though he's got less hair than the older Dave, he's going down without a fight. And that's what we've noticed really, isn't it, the last 12 months? I like Dave's style, he's not affected at all.
Dave Reljic is leading, Dave Rothall 7 frames to 4. Dave Rothall having taken the last frame.
There's one negative with these guys in comparison, talking about abroad players competing overseas at a high level. They really need to work on their break. A lot of the breaks, the people abroad that are winning tournaments have enormous breaks, really powering the rack, going right through it. Balls are exploding. They're getting 3 or 4 balls in, and they're breaking. The balls are spreading more, they're not getting as many balls tied up. A bit like a big serve in tennis, it's very, very important.
Well, I was actually going to mention tennis. There's been some talk in Australia about having a look at the format of a pool tournament and maybe even involving the idea of having a set situation and a match situation.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
So having 3 sets. It just means that there's an opportunity to get back in if you have a bad set. Rather than if you're down, 7-2,
right.
and the match is over.
I mean, sets are great. I encourage that. I mean, it's not something you may not be having a bad set. It maybe you're sitting in your chair.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
You don't even get a chance to get out. You've done
That's
nothing
right.
wrong.
That's right. And you can be shut out of a match. And for a player to do that over 3 sets, well, to win.
Yeah.
For a player to do that over a short span of half an hour, 40 minutes, then maybe that's a bit unfair to his opponent.
Yeah. And I don't think the spectators would mind, Lewis.
Yeah, it's not a new thing though, Kim. We back in 10, 15 years ago, sets were the most common thing.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, very successful. I think the World Pool Association changed hands, or they had a change in some of the committee members. I believe that some of them had an influence on changing it to 1 set.
Yeah, okay.
And players complained. I mean, really the better player wants more sets. He wants to eliminate the luck of his opponent getting a jump on him or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Certainly more entertaining too. Nothing worse than watching a match maybe going race to 9 and the other guy's up 8-0. I mean, it's pretty hard for us to sit here and talk about that.
It's not much of a match, is it?
No. Back to this though, Dave, I think he's just worked out a run out here. Again, his opponent didn't pot a ball off the break. He's giving the control back to Dave.
And he's got a really good angle on that ball on the top rail to get under the 12 within the black. He's going to try and want to land straight on this 12. How would you play this, Lewis? You think you'd put it up the top, put the left-hand side, put the 12 in the middle?
It's hard to see from that. Just gentle it and run through about a foot for the other ball over the centre. I think it's a 13 after this.
Yeah, nice and simple.
Dave's played that. Has he come out enough? Is that 7? No, he's okay. He's okay.
Yeah, he's played that to perfection.
Yes, absolutely. He's in his comfort zone, Dave.
And he's up 8-4. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're back here. Is this the final frame? Unfortunately for Dave, Rothall has come up dry again on the break.
Rightly so, shrugging his shoulders. He knows that you just cannot expect to win a match when you just can't get balls off the break. He was getting them earlier today. He was definitely be frustrated. And I think that would have affected the score on that question. How much do you think David Reljic weighs, Kim?
How much do you reckon he weighs?
Yeah.
I'm going for 10 stone.
10 stone. Can you explain what it is in kilos, please?
No, I can't.
I didn't think so.
In New South Wales, we don't have the metric system there.
Is that right? In European country, are you?
Well, what would you yeah, Wales, New South Wales.
Ah.
Yeah, we're still dealing in euros.
Okay.
So Lewis, I'd be looking at bigs here. How about yourself? That 7's pretty much tight.
I was starting to talk about putting a bit of beef on Dave with his break a bit heavier, but you've avoided that one for me.
Yeah. Apparently he's got the weight where it counts, though.
I have no idea what you're referring to, Kim. I think Kim's talking about his cue. He's, might be referring to his shaft on his cue. He's well balanced.
That's exactly right, Lewis.
Yeah.
He definitely has a height advantage, or would you say that he has a disadvantage with his height, with these low tables? I know it'd work well for you in snooker, but
I'd say there's good and bad in it. Certainly reach shots I can't reach.
True.
So I don't think I've got a bit of a hunchback like David has.
There was a point brought up earlier. Why is it that there's only one cue manufacturer that makes a short butt for American 8-ball cues?
I didn't know that was true. I think you can get cues made up anywhere, can't you, mate?
It's a pretty standard component though in snooker. There's a lot of shots here where you just need that little bit.
Oh, you're talking about extension?
Extension, yeah.
Ah, okay.
Just the mini butt.
Yeah.
Seems it's a strange omission. I know that Mez is the only company that actually makes a cue with a short butt extension.
Okay, I've seen it on a few brands actually.
Right,
Now I know what part you're exactly talking about. I thought you meant an entire butt shorter.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, making the cue shorter overall.
Well, actually, that's something that my cousin has said. Why are they all a standard length? Because he's a little bit shorter than most.
Obviously, the Q makers are all the same height. There they go again. Couldn't give two rats about anyone else.
Alright, Dave's going to break the 7 out here. It's going to have to be a good shot though. Oh, he's done it beautifully.
What's the average length? Well, what's the standard length of the Q?
29 inches.
It's 58 inches, mate. You're thinking about something
Oh, I'm
else.
talking about the shaft.
Ah, I beg your pardon.
Your pardon is begged.
Okay.
I myself have got a 30-inch shaft simply
Simply
I
because.
just need the extra look.
Oh dear. I don't find this conversation funny. I've missed something here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why Kim's laughing at the moment.
Alright,
Dave, however, is
think
definitely not laughing.
Dave is pretty much just about to win his 3rd in a row Australian Open.
He's not laughing,
eight-ball
he's
title.
about to become ecstatic.
The sunglasses have done their job.
Awesome,
Thank you
awesome
very much,
stuff.
ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Lewis Kondo.
Thank you, Kim. Well done, Dave.